Hello, I'm today in Beirut, Lebanon with Badih Saikali, co-founder and CEO of Refer, the business connector tool, and we're going to discuss digital innovation in Lebanon. Hi Badih.
Hello Imna.
Thank you.
Thank you for your interest in us and our project.
So Badih, before starting our conversation, could you please present Refer to us, because this is a new startup, so I'm interested in knowing what your activity is, when and how you started it, your ambition. And maybe if you can give us also an idea of your professional background as well, because you have a wide experience abroad as well as an entrepreneur here in Lebanon. And I think your background will give us an interesting perspective as to the discussion that will follow.
Refer It is the business tool that finds for you the best mutual contact whenever you need to get introduced to someone and you don't know who among all your friends would be the best one suited to make the introduction. Privately, of course. Refer will find for you the best mutual contact based on the confidential relationship evaluations that we will ask you to do. It's a very simple one question with 3 possible answers. Either you know the person, you interact with him or her, or you trust him. Many other tools offer you to show you who are your mutual contacts with that target person you're trying to meet, but none of them will tell you, aha, this is the best person that you need to contact in order to get introduced to that person. It has been my case, you're asking me also about my background, has been my case for 10 years in the Gulf, all of the Gulf states, where I was working as a consultant, as a salesman, as a specifier of building materials, of marketer for building materials mainly. Before my career with Arthur Andersen for 6 years, I was also there in the Gulf and in Lebanon. But then in the Gulf, when I was trying to sell, as a salesman, I always found it very, very difficult to get into the door of those people, of some of those people who most of the time were of different cultures or different backgrounds or different nationalities. And despite all the thousands of contacts I used to gather and still keep today in my phone and in my database, I still found it very difficult to find just one mutual contact. And that was even after LinkedIn came in. LinkedIn, by the way, is a very good tool for job seekers and job hunters. We are the business tool for those who are not seeking to change jobs, for those who are willing to expand their businesses, simply. And we, by the way, as a very important feature, we keep all the data, personal data of our members completely private, unlike any other networking tool to date.
But yeah, can you tell us a little bit about your background, your professional background, and how did you create your startup? I mean, why did you do it? Why this moment? How did it happen?
In fact, I owe Refer to the evolution of my professional experience. It started as a simple accountant in a company here, in a real estate company. I was then promoted to the assistant of a VP in finance to program, and it was the first time I did some programming for database to help him manage some of the assets. And then I got headhunted by Arthur Andersen, who moved me to the Gulf states for 3 years, and then I went back here and did my MBA. So with Arthur Andersen, it was really more on the consulting, of course, business process engineering, software business process, the software implementation. I'm talking about the big softwares, the ERPs, enterprise resource planning softwares. So it was a very good way to see how we can improve the processes inside companies. And then I left the consulting world to join a big company specialized in manufacturing building materials for 8 years. And I went through all the stages of this company. It was a family-owned company. And it was really very, very tough in the sense that I was put in front of a lot of situations where I had sales targets at the end of the month or specifications targets to specify the materials we were producing. And it was really a challenge to get by. I mean, it was tough situations, tough culture, tough environment. It was very hot. It was really, we had very tough situations. And I, despite the numerous contacts I had, as I told you earlier, it wasn't enough for me. Those contacts were not enough for me to help me get by and vouch for those people, trying to find someone to vouch for the integrity and the honesty of our company, our product, and myself as well, in order to be able to close more business deals. So the inspiration from all this experience, from this 20 years of experience in different fields, I got inspired to start this tool. Because of my hardship, because of the pain and the suffering I experienced during the different, especially in the last 8 years, because I believe it's the case of every one of us. Every one of us needs to sell either his services or the products he's representing or his manufacturing.
Now, when it comes to Lebanon and digital innovation in Lebanon, let me start with a difficult question. And the difficult question is, when it comes to IT infrastructure, and starting with the internet connection, Lebanon is more doomed than blessed. So has anything changed that I am not aware of? Or otherwise, how can you start? How can you work? Can you start by describing the technical conditions you have to deal with? Because this is the basics, basically.
Yeah. Well, we're operating under very difficult and tough situations and tough conditions. Whether it's the internet connection, which everybody knows is one of the lowest in the countries, probably in the whole world. 170, we rank at the 170th rank in the whole world as far as internet connectivity. But that didn't stop us Lebanese people who've gone through 15 years of war of operating. That the challenges, I think, are really in our minds, frankly. In Lebanon, it has always been tough. It's probably going always to remain tough to do business. But we Lebanese have been used to getting things done under tougher conditions, even when bombs were falling on our heads. The economy didn't stop when the war was raging here in this country. It's definitely not going to stop now.
So, in these conditions, what motivated you to base your company in Lebanon when you said that you have lived and worked abroad, so you could have settled elsewhere? So why here?
True, I could have. I chose we and my partners and my two co-founders and myself, Badih Saikali and Costa Nicolau, chose to start it from here because we really believe in our capacity as Lebanese people first to start to really make a dent in the startup field or in the networking field with our project. And we wanted it to be a Lebanese success story. If this project is going to fly off, and it is, and all the premises, we are getting all the premises that it is, and hopefully, and we will shine worldwide because it's a tool for hundreds of millions of people.
Obviously, yeah.
We would like to say that it was, and it has been, and it will always be a Lebanese success story.
Do you think these motivations are shared by the other entrepreneurs that are based here? Or they have other types of motivations as well?
Yeah, some of them might not have the choice to go elsewhere because it costs a lot of money to go elsewhere as well. And by the way, this initiative here is really the first of its kind in Lebanon because it also does not require or does not force the startup founders to let go of equity.
Okay.
For the first stages here.
So what are the conditions here, or what is specific, or what makes your life easier when you're based in the Beirut Digital District, for example?
Well, we have this setup here, which is very, very excellent. We have teachers from Babson University, which is the top university in the world for entrepreneurship, and it was chosen by the British, which makes it even more interesting as a choice. We all know that entrepreneurship is really tough, and
it's the proof we're working under tough conditions. Never mind, we can go on. It's not a bomb, by the way.
We all know that entrepreneurship is a tough choice for somebody who has been in business before and who suddenly embraces uncertainty, which was my case. We wanted again and to stay and to remain in Lebanon, even if we wanted to open later on some affiliates companies or a physical presence in Europe. We wanted to be a Lebanese success story and eventually continue hiring people from Lebanese backgrounds if this is possible and if we can find them.
Who are your partners? I'm interested in knowing how is the ecosystem, or what is the ecosystem you're working with. So who are the partners, the types of companies or freelancers or people you collaborate with? And are they all local, or do you work with international people, whatever?
As far as we are concerned, as Referred is concerned, we haven't partnered yet with any companies here.
So you do everything by yourself?
Yes, we did. We did some outsourcing job at the very beginning, but we're looking for partnerships in terms of encryption and protection of data, of personal data. If again we can't find the right talent to hire in time. However, this might change and we might still remain completely autonomous if we find the right talent, as I said.
So more generally speaking then, because it's not your case yet,
yeah.
Do you see the other startups or entrepreneurs more working locally, or they're establishing partnerships with other countries, and which countries?
Yeah, some of them have established, we have here startups producing their their products in Taiwan or in China. And I think some of them have outsourced their coding to Eastern Europe, to Ukraine, or to Estonia. We again chose to do that in-house, even if it's sometimes at a higher cost, because you have to, there's additional costs related to hiring instead of outsourcing. But in the long term, you win better because you have continuity. So yes, to answer your question, we have both cases.
What would you say are the qualities of the Lebanese workforce in IT? I mean, are there any specific skills that you find interesting when it comes to Lebanese people that you're noticing?
Yes, definitely. Lebanese people are known to have really amazing ways of being very creative in whatever jobs they are embracing.
But they're not famous. They're not really famous for digital or IT. I mean, it's
not yet.
So this is why I'm interested in your
Not yet. In local universities, I know my partner and co-founder Costa, who's the CTO of the company, is helping a local university guide their teachers and their staff and their faculty in choosing probably better ways of teaching developers and coders on how to embrace, on how to be more ready to be hired as soon as they finish. We ourselves are training or accepting some trainees from certain universities in our here where we are hosted and incubated.
Who's leading this digital high-tech movement in Lebanon? Is there one leader? Are there many leaders? Is it an organized movement or not? Is there a strategy behind? Can you elaborate a bit on that?
Sure. It's been only 2 years that the tech sector has started to see some burgeoning. There are, of course, some success stories like Shahia, the Lebanese company, which saw an exit lately, and another one for the media industry called Diwani. These were 2 success stories. The whole community here really has been ignited by the Central Bank of Lebanon with the famous 331 circular that called for banks to allocate some money, a few hundred millions, to startups, because banks were traditionally known, especially in Lebanon, to be very, very risk averse and not wanting to invest with startups. So to go back to who are the players, I think it's the BDL, Central Bank of Lebanon. The organizations like Beritech, where this building is, where they are housed in this building, actually many buildings who are in the mountain in Beirut, and certain organizations that have come up. First there was Sequence. It was an incubator and then it closed down. It renamed itself, or now it's under the name of Startup Megaphone. It's also doing a good job to disseminate the Lebanese startups, or to make the Lebanese startup known, whether in New York City, as it happened last month or 2 months ago, and next month in Singapore. And you have the famous UK-Lebanon Tech Hub initiative done by the British Embassy in Lebanon under the helm of the ex-ambassador Tom Fletcher, who did an amazing job to really come up with a person called Colm Riley, who's a UK advisor to as far as innovation and technology, a UK advisor to the UK government and to the Japanese government, if I'm not mistaken. And they have made this beautiful initiative and selected 45 companies out of 150 startups in Lebanon to really bring them up to speed with the right incubation and the proper follow-up. For later on to be selected, hopefully, among the 15 best companies in Lebanon to be invited for 6 months free of charge for accelerated incubation in London. So these are the main actors I'm thinking about as far as the startup tech scene is concerned in Lebanon.
You mentioned the UK, but Lebanon has always been at the crossroads of many international influences. So I would say the Arab world, the US, Europe, Africa maybe, because there are a lot of Lebanese people there. So how does this reflect in the development of the startup scene? So you just mentioned the UK Embassy initiative. Are there other countries or areas that are involved, or in which way? Or
there is, we can say there are other organizations other than the ones I just mentioned. I forgot which, for example, is WAMDA, and they have a lot of ties with the Arab world, with Jordan, with the Gulf states. There's the Badih initiative as well, we're co-working 961, and there's the Alt City as well in Beirut. All these 3-4 it's important to mention them because they're also part of the ecosystem of companies who nurture startups here. Now, as far as foreign countries, we haven't really seen any involvement, any direct involvement as big as the UK one. Frankly speaking, I can think of, for example, a certain big corporation like Hyundai who made at City the other day a call for pitches. So we're seeing sometimes Korean companies, as I said, or other companies come directly and ask and encourage people and give them prizes for their good ideas. But we haven't really seen direct initiatives by countries. I'm also have to think about I mentioned the Anima network as well, which is in partnership with Badih Tech.
What frustrates you most today in the development of your business, or?
So the frustrations for me, as somebody who started this company, is really related to the choices I had to make at the very beginning that would really simplify the product. And I think it's a frustrating choice, frustrating but necessary choice. You can then later on add other features, but you have to concentrate on the core value proposition. In our case, it's finding the best mutual contact for you, which no other tool has ever offered to date.
I have a last question, which was, if you had a magic wand, or if you could be granted 3 wishes, what would they be?
3 wishes. Remind me of the film of Aladdin. To answer your question, if you'd be granting the wishes to really, for me, to be always convinced that this is the best thing I can do, and indeed it is. Today I'm convinced that after 20 years of doing a lot of things, I think this is the best thing I've done. Choosing that this project is the project of my lifetime, and I'm going to continue with it no matter what.
So you're not asking for a great internet connection, for example?
Well, for example, yes, of course. We use sometimes our phones here to connect in order to bypass the terrible Wi-Fi connections for the landlines. Yes.
Thank you very much. Is there anything you want to add that I haven't asked you, or?
No, what I would like to say at the end, as a closing, is that no matter what you do in life, no matter what people tell you, if you put all your heart in it, and if you put all your passion, and you still have to find, if you haven't found your passion, stop. Stop whatever you're doing. Take some time off if necessary, even if you don't really have the means. But I encourage people to do that. That's what I've done. Stop, go and think deeply. What are your skills? What are the things that you think are born for? What are the things that characterizes you? What are the things that people love in you? If you don't think that you love the things, that some of the things you're made of are likable, just ask around. Ask people, what do you think is best for me? What do you think I'm strong in? And then they will tell you.
I think you're ready to be a mentor, not only an entrepreneur, but a mentor for others.
We'll see that. But since you've told me that some of the students, some of the people who are going to watch this are the students, I think education is wrong today. It's badly designed because it comes with the textbooks. With a textbook, an education, brilliant education, cannot come with a textbook only. It has to come with experiences shared by others to the students, telling them really look in yourself, look inside of you, and try to see the best that you can become, and why and how you want to change others and change the way people think. If you think you have the magic formula for something, well, go chase it and do it.
Let's hope you have the magic formula for Refer.
We really do believe that.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you to you. Thank you for your interest.